The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home. The Gospel of the Lord. Today we celebrate the memorial of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of the Church. It's a fairly recent memorial enacted just in 2018 by Pope Francis on the 160th anniversary of the apparition of Mary at Lourdes. Now, we do celebrate the great solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, on January 1st. This is to remind us today that Mary is also the Mother of the Church, the Mother of all of us. And that's very well set out in Scripture. So the reading from Acts chapter 1 has the preamble to Pentecost, where the apostles are in the upper room and they're praying in anticipation of God coming among them. And with them is Mary, the Mother of God. So that continual prayer in the upper room is really what caused Pentecost to happen. And Pentecost is the birthday of the Church, as we know. So Mary was involved in the birth of Christ. She gave the second person of the Trinity his human nature, and now she is involved in the birth of the Church. So from beginning to end, Mary, our mother, is very much with us. In the Gospel, we see again this truth, because Jesus himself, when he hung upon the cross, the last thing he does is give his mother to the beloved disciple, John. And John is the model disciple who represents all of us, the whole church. So here we have Mary being the mother of the church. Notice again, Jesus calling her woman, and that's in reference to our alternate first reading from Genesis chapter 3, which we know is the first announcement of the gospel after the fall, where God assembles the serpent, Adam and Eve, and says to the serpent, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and hers. He will crush your head, you will strike his heel." So the woman is very much involved in that first gospel. That's why Jesus at the wedding feast at Cana, when the wine of the Old Testament had run out, the law being insufficient to bring joy to the people because they were still caught in their sins, now Mary brings it to the attention of Jesus. And Jesus says, "Woman, what is that between you and me?" Knowing very well what he's doing. He's recollecting the woman of Genesis. She now is his mother, the new Eve, with the new Adam. They're going to bring a new creation. So all of this is of one piece, and how fortunate we are to understand this truth. Because Mary, who gave motherhood to her own son and the church, wants to continue to protect us as a good mother would. So let us have refuge to her in our prayers, asking her always to intercede for us and the world, that there may be peace and there may be more of her children, because that's exactly what we're called to do. One further text in Revelation chapter 12, where we do have the vision of John caught up into heaven. He sees this woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, crowned with a 12-star crown. And she's about to give birth to a son who would rule the nations with a rod of iron, which is a messianic prophecy in Psalm 2. Well, the woman does give birth, even though the dragon is there, the serpent from Genesis is there to devour the child, but the child is protected, and now the serpent is enraged against the woman. And at the end of that chapter, there's that famous statement, that this serpent would now wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commandments and hold fast their testimony about Jesus. Now that involves all of us. So let us keep fast to the commandments and to our testimony and be ourselves like Mary, mothering others into this great church that she was so instrumental